Hey, my Piscean collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your romantic, sexual, intimate, satisfying soulmate read for March 2020 or timeless, whenever you're supposed to watch it. I am your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons, professional witch. Oh, Mark Angelo Lyons, Mel for short. You know, when you have a tagline, you have to stick with it. Professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Joining the Circle Productions, and Pisces Moon. Very, very happy to be reading for you today. I just downloaded the spread for this read earlier this morning, did one on myself, was really interesting, really like it. We're only doing, let's see, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17 cards total, but it'll probably take an hour to break it down. I think you'll like it. Gonna keep it fun, gonna keep it interesting. Because the blessing that I just did on the decks, in the description box below is a link on how I bless the cards, so just really got a nice breathing buzz off of that. So let's have some fun with this. The soulmate readings to me are the most fun things that I do, right? The full moon, new moon stuff, it's interesting. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's not. But these, because we're looking at what's going on in a contract, right? So this is a contract read, so it's not going to fit absolutely everybody like a glove. So please, it's general. Take what resonates, leave what does not. Check your other signs. That's why I try and keep it fun and informative. Because what we're looking at here is a type of soul contract. Soul contracts are agreements you make when you are chosen to come into the body to play certain roles in certain bodies, right? It's just how it works. But soulmate contracts are different than twin flames. There are links describing and going into the definitions of a twin flame and a soulmate in the description box below. Go check those out. Because how I'm experiencing it is that soulmates are satisfying, symbiotic, soothing, right? Satisfying really is the key word there. The contracts where you help each other heal, where twin flames you teach each other how to heal yourselves, and it's just different, very, very different. So we're going to be looking at the contracts for the Piscean collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs with that, so please take what resonates, leave what doesn't, because it's a lot of information, and if the buzz that I got off this card being a Pisces moon has any indication, I think you'll know what resonates and what doesn't. Two more things real quick before we do this. I am going to be doing Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine to identify both parties of the soul contract. So please know it has nothing to do with bodily gender. If you knew me personally or even generally, like from my my Facebook group, the Mark Angelo Lyons Mel for short private Facebook group, you'd know it's like, I don't care how you identify, you're a soul, I love you, right? We're all in this together, sweetheart. And believe me, I've been prejudged plenty of times, right? So it's not a big deal as a gay man for me. I try and extend to others that which I did not receive from others, you know, it's kind of how I am. It's a witch for you, hopefully. So that masculine, feminine thing, just roll with it. You'll know who you are in the contract after, hopefully, the first couple of minutes once those cards hit the table. Also, please remember to breathe. Keeps me centered when the energy gets high. If you're doing the same, we're all tuning to the present moment where the divine resides and getting as much clarity, guidance, and grace as we can. Cool, cool? Let's do this for real now. Breathe. All the decks that I read are at the bottom of the description box. We're going to start with the Caroline Mace archetype cards. One for the Divine Feminine, one for the Divine Masculine. Let's see how this goes. They're already jumping like fish out of the water. Here we go. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved, please, 2 cards, one for the Divine Feminine, one for the Divine Masculine, in this Piscean collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, sexual, intimate, romantic, oh, it feels so good, satisfying soulmate contract for March 2020 or timeless, please. Give me the Divine Feminine archetype, give me the Divine Masculine archetype. There he is, and I have to say he or she, otherwise I have to say Divine Yin, Divine Yang, and nobody would know what the hell I'm talking about. So, well, no, a lot of people would know, but You know, in the West, we're going to use masculine, feminine. So remember, archetype cards are neutral. They have shadow and light attributes. I'm going to read both of them. The shadow is supposed to trigger you. It's the toxic stuff, but the light is what you're shooting for, and what this relationship, you're helping each other heal within yourselves and each other, right? So good to know, right? Good to have an idea of what you're all healing together in a soul contract. All right, interesting. We've got the Advocate archetype, one of the action families for the Divine Feminine. I like seeing that there. And I don't think this will be any surprise to anyone. In the Divine Masculine, we've got the Wounded Child archetype. Now, we'll talk about him first. Always ladies first with me, it's just how I was raised. Let's talk about what's on this card. The Advocate archetype, because I know so many advocates that don't know they're advocates. The shadow attribute, embracing negative causes or committing to causes for personal gain. I think you can feel that. That's going on politically, like everywhere, on every side of every aisle, in every country, everywhere right now, it seems, right? What are you advocating for? Like, particularly in terms of legal means, right? You know, what's the legal cause and what are you willing to do for it? The light attribute inspires you to put compassion into action, and I think in a soulmate context, that was a blend of the word of context, right? In context of this, in a contract context, is I think is what I was trying to say. That for the Divine Feminine to actually put compassion into action, it's coming from that heart place, right? It's not with an ulterior motive or agenda, right? So keep an eye on that, my Divine Feminine Advocate. And what I mean, like not just political, but people who advocate for like animals, like not just rescuers. I have so many friends who rescue, you know, animals and foster them and stuff, but they are voices for these beings that have no voices, right? So I know hundreds of them across the globe. I know people who are doing that. So get that advocate thing, but also remember, if you are an animal advocate, a wounded child is not a wounded animal, right? But sometimes we can get our wires crossed that way, wanting to put compassion into action. Thankfully, this is a soulmate contract, so you're going to help each other heal. So even if the advocate is helping the wounded child heal, the wounded child should eventually reciprocate. And sometimes it's the advocate doing the healing that heals them, right? So they're helping each other heal. It's supportive. So let's talk about the wounded child. Now, the wounded child archetype I could talk about forever because I've done inner child work for a very long time, since I was a teenager, riding the T in Boston, reading John Bradshaw and going to classes about such things in the mid-'80s, let alone the '90s, right? So this everybody has the child archetype, not everybody has the wounded child archetype. So the survival family of archetypes, everybody has these four. The child, the victim, the saboteur, and the prostitute. Everybody's got them. They're not what you think they are just by hearing about them. Learn this from the book Sacred Contracts by Carolyn Mace. This is her deck, okay? So let me read you the wounded child, because it is so prevalent on planet Earth that to say, well, I don't want to date anybody with the wounded child archetype, you're really cutting off huge swaths of the population. I think both are true with that word. Okay, shadow attribute blames all dysfunctional relationships on childhood wounds, which in the beginning is understandable if you're discovering that, but when it's perpetual, where it's blame is the way the power is thrown away by the child. It's like, I can't heal anything, it was because of them, and since it happened in the past, I can't undo it, right? Which stops healing in its tracks. Resists moving on through forgiveness. Look, the versions of forgiveness that many of us were raised with are toxic as fuck, based on Newtonian physics, meaning that there's subject and there's object and no connection in between. And therefore, they did it to you, be the bigger person and forgive them. And you're like, no, but you forgive you. You don't mean it. Nothing heals, right? What the Course in Miracles essentially calls forgiveness to destroy. But we're going to move into the quantum version, right? Newtonian quantum, more here in the light. Awakens compassion. So there's two words they both have written on them, the word compassion. Awakens compassion and desire to serve other wounded children. Opens the learning path of forgiveness. Now, just right there to say that I'm willing to learn how to forgive is great, big, huge. Even the Course in Miracles says, and I am a student and a teacher of Course in Miracles. I don't teach it that much anymore, but I live it. Once you do those 365 exercises, one a day for a year, you learn how to habitualize forgiveness in the quantum of it. Course in Miracles says all it takes is a small willingness to forgive. In the beginning, you have to sustain it as you go, but if you're saying, all right, I don't know how to forgive these wounds of the past, but if it's really about the quantum of as I am healed, all are healed, then it's really not so much about the person who did whatever they did, but eventually you come to understand the only reason they did it is because they were pained and somebody victimized them, right? Somebody wounded them. So you get, we're all in this together, and it's not worth dragging the psychic weight and baggage of the person, your victimizer, or the one who wounded you, right? Family, friend, teacher, schoolyard, bullies, all of that, it doesn't matter the shape of it. For the divine masculine with the wounded child, we're seeing it in such broad strokes across society right now in a soulmate contract that an advocate might be able to actually back up and compassionately support and perhaps help give voice. Huge healing for the planet in this soulmate contract. Pisces, remember, we're 12th house. We're connected to the collective unconscious, right? That's why the ocean, right? We're the depths of the fucking ocean. That's why we feel everybody's everything. Ain't that right, my divine feminine empaths? Now, I don't think I'm in this reading because I'm not necessarily an advocate. I'm a teacher. I'm a healer. And yes, I put compassion into action, but you have to do that for yourself too. It's like putting the air mask on and when the cabin depressurizes in a plane. Absolutely have to give that to yourself first to be able to, particularly if you've got someone who's resisting forgiveness there, but could move into that place of willingness. With those two defined, you probably have a decent idea who you are. The rest of this reading should go relatively easy, because we're going to do, yay, the element spreads. I get so many people say, I love when you do those fire, earth, air, water spirits, particularly my witches, my pagans. They understand the language. So again, we're going to use the Daughters of the Moon to take fire, earth, air, water, spirit for the divine feminine, and the mythic tarot for the divine masculine, particularly what they want, element of fire, what they have, element of earth, what they think, element of air, what they feel, element of water, and element of spirit, a message or point of view from the soul. Cool? Let's do this. Breathe. My goddesses, please. Top 5 cards, element spread, fire, earth, air, water, spirit, for this divine feminine advocate archetype in this happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, sexual, intimate, romantic, satisfying soulmate contract for March 2020 or timeless whenever they're watching this. Please, my goddesses, please, 1 cards for the Piscean collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, top 5 cards. Top 5 cards, Celtic Cross, please, Maiden, Mother, Crone. Not the cleanest cut, but I will take that as top card. Now, rather than just deal those, let's just get these out of the way, because I'm doing something different. I did these, was it the last set of readings, or the ones before that? I don't remember, where I pulled the masculine and feminine at the same time. So yeah, we're going to go fire, fire, air, air, earth, earth, you'll see. It's called Breathe. I'm so excited to do these for some purpose. I won't say reason, because I don't know what the reason is. I guess we'll see. My gods, please, top 5 cards. Element spread for this, for the divine wounded child here. The wounded child, divine masculine archetype wounded child in this Piscean collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, satisfying, soulmate, intimate, sexual, romantic, if I didn't say it already, soulmate contract for this Piscean collective, please. Whenever you're ready, top 5 cards, element, spread, my gods, please. Sun, Father, Sage, there we go. Let's rock and roll. Okay. This is how we're going to do this. Ready? So element of fire, what do they desire? What do they want in this contract? Well, the divine feminine wants the Ace of Pentacles. She wants a stable beginning. She wants a stable seed. She may not be thinking, oh, where is this going to go ultimately? As an advocate, she might see, well, I want something stable to start with. I want something with deep potential, where the divine masculine has the wish fulfillment card of the Nine of Cups, right? The blessing of the marriage of Eros and Psyche by the goddess Aphrodite, whose ring I am wearing while I'm holding the card, right? So they kind of want, it's not that they want different things, it's just how they want it is a little bit different, and that's to be expected. So what I'm feeling for the divine feminine here, this advocate, she's like, well, let's do this. Let's have a nice, solid, grounded, beginning, a solid acorn, and we'll grow from there. And the divine masculine, probably because of the wounded child, is like, and then we could go and do this, and then we could live happily ever after, right? Isn't it cute when divine masculines do that, getting all up in their emotions? Aww. Well, no wonder. So the advocate's going to want to, eat him up and be like, maybe, sweetheart, let's just, be careful, that the advocate child doesn't turn into parent child, mother child in particular, It's cute if there are moments of that, but you don't want it changes the sexual dynamic eventually. It's not worth it. Not if you want a happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, sexual, intimate, romantic, right? I'm just going to move these over here so I don't shuffle them subconsciously as I'm so used to doing. So that's the fire. That's what they want. What's the fuel? The earth, right? What is it? The wick and wax that feeds the flame of the candle. So what's the earth element? Okay, interesting. What she's got going on for her right now is the storm, which makes sense that she might be sort of like, let's just start with step one. Hi. Let's do something stable, like very nice to meet you. Where with the card of the storm there, it might be because she's been through it. A lot of emotional change, a lot of tears, a lot of breath. Think of a storm, not just, not a hurricane. That's in the suit of blades, air in this. This is the Five of Cups. We're familiar with the Five of Cups, cups being knocked over while some still remaining standing, in this case afloat. But storms do pass, and maybe that's about her, and I'm going to put this in quotes, past, because it may be recent past, it might be distant past, but that sense of emotional wisdom that comes from tumultuous relationships, probably twin flame relationships that have prepared her for this soulmate, so that perhaps this stormy sky here is the clear sky of what she wants. She's like, can we just have something simpler to start with? Can we start with drinks instead of, matrimony? The Seven of Cups, however, where he's coming from, and it does make sense, is that place of fantasy, of emotional fantasy. So I kind of get that the healing dynamic here, the wounded child probably will idolize, if not this divine feminine advocate, then perhaps the relationship itself. And if not the relationship itself, just the idea of a soulmate contract relationship or whatever's going on here. So may not be seen clearly. There might be a dreamy quality to this wounded child. They may be using their fantasies to escape from pain. And by the way, who doesn't fucking do that? But if it is something in the childhood, the advocate can be compassionate to an extent, supportive, but that might be why she's like, one step at a time, kiddo. Let's have some reality here, right? Like, what's real? Are we actually compatible? Now it's a soulmate contract. Doesn't mean they'll be together forever and ever and ever. Somebody croaks eventually, right? But certainly, that you guys are going to help each other heal, whether for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And when soulmates part, it's usually pretty amicable, right? There's an understanding there. Oh, so let's see what they're thinking. What is she thinking? What is he thinking, element of air? Yeah, she's thinking about the conflict, right? So she's got the Four of Flames conflict, 2 archers, 1 dragon. That sounds like that disgusting I'm not going there. I will throw up in my mouth, and I just had cookies, so I'm not wasting those cookies. But perhaps that might be, like, this advocate maybe is carrying some emotional baggage here, and really thinking about past conflicts. Again, there's that word there, the past there, my advocate, if you're watching this. Or she's really seeing the fantastic element going on here with this divine masculine wounded child. And what I mean by fantastic is like, oh, fantastic, but in the aspect of fantasy, that's actually what the word means, right? Look up the word. The original word fantastic just doesn't mean great, right? It means that there's an element of fantasy. It's like you could say fantasy-ish. It's fantastic. It's fantastic-ish, right? So if that's what's going on for him, she might be thinking about that as a conflict. Like, I don't know if this is going to work. He's pie in the sky, and I just want, like, a solid brick to start with, right? But he's got the Hermit, and that's what gives me some hope here. Now, Hermit is the Virgo card. I am a Virgo, though I have a Pisces moon. So I'm very familiar with that, taking time to oneself to restore, to re-heal, right? Sometimes wounds get torn open, you get triggered. But particularly if it's a wounded child thing, it's not uncommon for the child to feel alone and isolated. The difference is that the Hermit, here the god Kronos, father of the Olympians, the Hermit goes willingly, right? It's not abandonment, it's not exile. It's saying, no, I'm going to take some time. So what's on his mind, what he's thinking about this is kind of not being single alone, because I feel like what he wants is so over the moon here with fantasy that in the mind it's like, okay, well, maybe I do need to pull back a little bit and check myself before I wreck myself. Now, if that can be communicated to the divine feminine, unless the divine feminine is like, Hermit, well, I just met you, you're gonna pull back. Sometimes, you know, we do that. It's like, but and that might be some of that storm there, but get that as an advocate, put compassion into action. And it's that thing of, yeah, okay, take the time that you need, heal, but, you know, if you need me, I'm here. Which is something we've all said to somebody and had ignored by somebody before. So I feel like the Divine Feminine's got some psychic weight here of her own. And so does he, but it feels like he uses fantasy to escape from it. I mean, this stuff everybody does, right? We're just seeing it in a tarot spread. So what's the element of water here? This is where it gets a little juicier, right? The element of water, what are they feeling? All right. Well, okay. So here for the divine feminine, we've got Shakti, the life dancer, the card of the universe, the card of the world, the last card of the major arcana before it reboots with, well, it goes through the Fool. In this deck, it's called the Dreamer. And technically, the Fool is not the first card of the major arcana. It's the Zero. The Magician, in this deck, the Witch, is the first card of the major arcana. So she's really feeling an emotional completion, maybe as the result of what's going on with this Storm card, where possibly what she's going through right now, which, by the way, may have a lot to do with this divine masculine, but may not as well. Might be like I said, this could be past, as could be this conflict that she's kind of processing through things, but then this would indicate emotionally she comes to an end of that process of integration and completion, ready to what? Start over with something brand new. And maybe, by the way, the wounded child in its light does have that compassion, is up to explore, is up to heal and to play, right? A wounded child, the opposite of the wounded child is a healed child, but not a child that was never wounded, right? Do you get, there's a difference between the never wounded child and the healed child? Yeah. So maybe up to be in love, maybe ready to be like, no, let's help each other heal. Let's at least walk by side. And yes, children can project parental fantasies onto their lives, saying, and then we'll be like, happy mommy and daddy that I never had, not neglectful, codependent, or abusive. But right now, kind of feels like is doing some growing up in terms of taking time for himself. And by the way, if you think that wounded child has anything to do with the age somebody is, you're out of your mind. Because what he's got going on emotionally here, his element of water, remember, she's got completion. He's got the Eight of Cups. This is Psyche going down into the underworld to retrieve Persephone's rapid wrinkle repair. Really, read the myth. It's like, really? Well, Aphrodite didn't like that she married her son, and they married without her consent. I mean, the goddess of love. So she set her on these tasks, and she had to go into the underworld, hell to everybody else, home for me and my friends. It's not, the underworld is not hell. It's where everybody goes. It's where I live in Elysia. The spa section where you go to grow young and come back. But often the Eight of Cups is seen as the walking away. I, however, in the tarot decks that I use, see it as walking towards. Wonderful book called, is that Wintersmith or Hatful of Sky? Doesn't matter. Terry Pratchett, the Tiffany Aching series. Read all of them. They're all amazing. They'll make you cry. They're so good about witches and stuff. But this young witch who learns that witchcraft is not about running from, it's about running to. Right? So this could be the hermit in the mind going down into the underworld to what? Deal with the wounded child, which is not even a part of ourselves. Archetypes are not parts of ourselves. They're routing systems of soul power, contracts that we take on in order to heal. They're not who we are. We are, in a way, the soul energy that goes through those routing systems. Yeah, put that in your head and think about that one for a little bit. That's a bit much, right? So I like this divine masculine wounded child. Feels like though his heart wants and wants and wants and wants, is in a little bit of fantasy, but is willing to deal with at least their own emotional reality. All right, the soul position for the divine feminine. We've got the spinning wheel, the spider woman, the wheel of fortune, and wrong one. Ooh, and the Three of Wands, loyalty, right? At least that loyalty of that Three of Flames. Like, I think he might be infatuated with her. Now, I don't know if he's letting on, right, with the hermit. Might not be talking about it much, right? Might be pulled back. And for her, the voice of the soul here, now remember, spirit is the voice of the soul or perspective. So her soul, the advocate soul here, saying, look, this is scripted. This is a contract. It was a matter of time. The two of your threads were going to intertwine. What happens next? Is it up to you? Sort of, but more the narrative of how you want to see this. If your mind is in conflict and you are at storm while you are healing and completing emotionally, whoopsie, and really wanting a new beginning, well, that is a probability. But the story that this divine feminine tells herself, right? Will she embrace negative cause or commit to causes for personal gain, or will she be inspired to put compassion into action where this divine wounded child? And that's what depends the quality of the web, the quality of the whether you experience the agony of fate or the transcendence of destiny. Because they can look an awful lot alike, but it's lead to gold, right? You're handed lead. It's up to us to alchemize gold. Where he is more about this loyalty. Now, I do get, just even holding this card now, that this might very much be loyalty to his own inner child. Loyalty to his own work. It's a Three of Flames. It is, let me get my shit together. What is my priority structure, right? What's most important to me? And I do feel like very, very in love, very, very at least crushing on, infatuated with this divine feminine, but from that divine masculine place, perhaps getting, I want to walk into this cleaner, right? Who walks into a relationship completely squeaky with no baggage? I don't know that that person exists. And infant, and even then you got past life stuff, right? You're in karmic whatever written in. So be careful there, divine masculine. I'm glad that you're taking your time, but don't, you can't scrub your chakras with bleach and wire brushes either. Take your time. So be gentle. Be gentle if you are the divine masculine watching. So we've only got 5 more cards left. Let's do these. Let me put these back over here. We are going to ask the Healing with the Angels Oracle for just 1 card for each of them to put in the center of these 5-card element spreads. I'll pop up a picture at the end as I do. If you're new, I do that for these, particularly for the longer reads. I want you to see as clearly as I can get the camera to pick these up, right? Nice deep breath. I know that was a lot. My angels, please. 2 cards, 1 for the divine feminine advocate, 1 for the divine masculine wounded child in this Piscean collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, satisfying, sexual, intimate, romantic soulmate contract for March 2020. Please, my angels, one for her, the advocate, one for him, the wounded child. Top of the deck, you got it. Let's see what we got. Now, these are the Healing with the Angels Oracle, so it's going to say this is the angels that, in a way, I know it's a weird word to use, but have contracted to work with them, that are walking with each of them individually to help them heal individually while they help each other heal. That was a lot of words. I don't know if that made sense to everybody. But she's got balance and he's got freedom, right? So she's got to find her balance in the storm, right? You've ever been on a ship at sea and, you know, a storm comes. It's like you got to hold on. You got to find your balance, you know, even when it's a little choppy, let alone when there's a storm. So her emotions might be a little riled up. There might be a big conflict on her mind that, again, may have not, I feel like for some of y'all, it's not directly involving the wounded child. It could be about politics, right? An advocate issue. It could be about the abuse of whatever in the world, right? The resources, speaking for the planet. So there could be an ecological piece of this as well. Be careful if you're the divine feminine that you're passionate, but that you're not projecting onto this divine masculine who really, well, I mean, if he's seeing you as perfect, nobody is, right? Unless we're all perfect where we are in process. But also don't be too upset that if he's really thinking about pulling back, he may not have hermited yet. It's just in the element of air. He may not have pulled, well, he might have pulled back emotionally with that Eight of Cups going on. But I feel like he's getting clearer and clearer about what these wounds are and that they do go back to childhood. So keep your balance because he's got freedom. And I don't feel like he wants freedom from this divine feminine as much as he wants freedom from some of this pain. Now, can you do that in all sorts of toxic ways? Absolutely. So it's great that he's got the healing angel of freedom, right, to help him move past, right? Well, and isn't it right here in the card, resists moving on through forgiveness, right? So no freedom to move on, or opens the learning path of forgiveness, which indicates forward movement and freedom in that way. So balance and freedom. I'm liking this. I'm liking this spread too. I mean, it's not radically different from anything I've done before, but I like pulling them both at the same time, and I think it saves a little time. Cool? So, let's ask the higher selves of all involved through the Whispers of Love Oracle. Let's do exactly that, shall we? Nice deep breath, please. Oh, that was calming. Right from the tarot to an oracle. What a... not a downgrade, but a deceleration. That was lovely. Please, the higher selves of all involved. One card each. 2 cards, I guess, in total. One for the divine feminine, one for the divine masculine. Higher selves of all involved. A whisper of love for each of them in this Piscean collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign. Into happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, romantic, soul contract, March 2020, or whenever they watch it. Please, one for the divine feminine, you really wanted to come out, and one for this divine masculine. I love this deck so much. So her higher self is telling her, get to know each other. Good. So this is new, and it feels like they're going to get that. She's going to get what she wants, at least in that opportunity. Get to know each other. Learning to meet another's need for love is important for a relationship to grow. So if you're the divine feminine here, is this all about him? No, but you're probably being triggered something about him. Perhaps the wounds that he may be distributing, maybe exhibiting, or not. Might be just something you're picking up on intuitively. So I get the want to ditch and run thing, but it's a soulmate contract. We help each other heal, and sure, sometimes we help people heal by walking away when they're extra toxic. Like I've told people, look, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm not going to witness you do this to yourself either. Sometimes that's the most loving thing that they can do. And if they are being abusive, you can just say, look, I know this isn't about me, so I'm going to step back, so I'm one less person. You're going to have to apologize. I get it. I love you. Bye. For now, right? But this, I don't feel like is that. I feel like this is really, once she gets to know him, she's going to see that this is somebody who is actually wanting to heal and that they can help each other heal. So let's see what he's got. Embrace your emotions. Don't push down your feelings or judge your emotions. And what's going... Oh my God, I just realized he's got the 7, 8, and 9 of cups. So yeah, there's a journey of emotion here going on. But right now in his emotional field, the 8 of cups, so where he is, right, his element of earth, what's going on is the 7 of cups. But, you know, it feels like he's going in to embrace his emotions. I mean, that is the descent. See, if people could get that emotions are element of water, then you cross the river Styx, water, subconscious mind, to get to the underworld. And don't be afraid of the underworld. Don't fear the reaper. You need more cowbell. But in the underworld is where all the treasures and the gems, also our shadows are. So, you know, to free yourself from that, don't push down your feelings or judge your emotions. Don't let them possess you either. Like, inner child work to me is about loving that child, letting it have its voice, giving it what it needs, which is the love only you can give it, but not letting it drive your life, right? Because remember, you have childlike and childish, right? Childlike, Dalai Lama. Childish, Pee Wee Herman, although nothing wrong with Pee Wee Herman. I love me some Pee Wee. But, you know, in relationships, you want to kind of go that way. Yeah. All right, one last card, and I bet you know what it's going to be. Yes, I specifically left out the love pack this time because it's the satisfying soulmate contracts. We're going straight to the healing mantra deck by KAHN. Just one, though, so it doesn't matter who you are watching this, divine masculine wounded child or divine feminine advocate. You have a mantra to work that will not just help you, but will help heal the relationship. Shall we? Breathe. I think you'll like this one. My ascended masters of soulmate contracts, the happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, sexual, intimate, romantic soulmate contracts. So yes, a very specific division, but a large one. Please, my ascended masters, one card in clarity for this divine feminine and divine masculine in this Piscean collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, sexual, intimate, romantic, satisfying soulmate contract for March 2020 or timeless, please. No, that one didn't feel right. Please, what is the perfect healing mantra for them, please, my masters? Thank you so very much. Now, one side of the card is the mantra, the other the name of the mantra. That's all that's written on the card, but they provide a bookie book. Little bookie book. It's pink. Oh, sorry, it's upside down, too. KAHN, brilliant spiritual teacher, great author. His new book's coming out. I already registered to get it, prepaid, whatever you want to call that. So what I'm going to do is get the info, read it here, and then look it up in the bookie book. Who did you get? Opening my mind. Divine feminine. I allow myself to see beyond my beliefs and ideas. And I just heard that is for both of them. Because there's no air going on in his spread. And none in hers either, by the way. So the mantra, I allow myself to see beyond my beliefs and ideas. I allow myself. Now, that doesn't mean you need to jump off cliffs, right? That doesn't mean you need to, you know, believe things that, you know, are patently untrue. 100% horse-pucky illusion, right? I allow myself to see beyond my beliefs and ideas, opening the mind. Let me read this for you, and then we'll do a lovely little overview. And I'll give you a blessing at the end, as I always do. Opening my mind, I allow myself to see beyond my beliefs and ideas. Breathe. When your mind opens, you are no longer limited by fearful beliefs or at odds with your own healing journey. Wow, that feels like first part's divine feminine, second part's divine masculine. With an open mind, you are aware of a bigger cosmic picture where your personal life ushers in your highest potential by uplifting the consciousness of humanity. Right? Did you get that? Your highest, like, you get the larger picture that what you're going through is helping to uplift all of humanity. That's what I mean by the quantum forgiveness part of it. Both sides. And even quantum compassion then, right? Compassion for yourself, compassion for another moves love throughout the entire quantum field, right? As your mind opens, life is not just centered around your personal gains and losses. it feels like there was some loss here. Well, obviously loss on both sides. But shining your light for the well-being of all, wherever you happen to be. This mantra is ideal for the inner negotiation with ego, unraveling self-sabotage, and confronting the inevitability of loss, which is really hard for anyone to deal with. But all that rises falls, all that waxes wanes, right? All that flows ebbs. It's just how it goes. The wheel of the year, right? The turning of the clock. We are the eternal in the temporal, and these soul contracts were made on the level of the eternal soul to play out in the temporal, the timeline of past, present, future. So let's get you an overview. We'll see what else pops here. Cool? Magic clap. That was a good one. I like a crisp clap. So we've got the Divine Feminine Advocate here. Shadow attribute, embracing negative causes or committing to causes for personal gain. The light attribute inspires her to put compassion into action, which is of course what she's hoping to do here, one would think, in any kind of soulmate contract. But what she's got right now, her element of fire, what she wants is this Ace of Pentacles, a new beginning, a new opportunity, perhaps to do exactly that, to put compassion into action. But where she's at, her element of earth, the Five of Cups, there's some stormy emotions going on there, and I get it, particularly if she's a Divine Feminine empathic, with everybody feeling so uncertain and freaked out, not knowing what's going to happen on planet Earth. She might be picking up on some of that too, particularly if her mind is focused on conflict, right? The Four of Flames. It would make sense that if her mind, element of air, is focusing on the conflicts of the world within herself, or maybe the conflicts she perceives with this Divine Masculine, is going to affect her emotionally. But remember, all storms pass, and they usually lead to watered ground and clear skies, right? So what's going on for her emotionally? It feels like she is at the end of a cycle here emotionally with that card Shakti, the Life Dancer, and I am feeling all's well that ends well. That the emotions that she's feeling, it's not the emotions that the emotions need to be healed, but they are a sign, the byproduct of a deep healing that is already taking place, preparing her for that new beginning that she wants, particularly because in the spirit position, she's got the Wheel of Fortune, the Spider Woman, fate and destiny sort of being spun here. So it's all about her narrative at this point of how she wants to play this out, but with her mind in conflict, it might take her a while to, what? Get her balance, that Healing Angel card right in the center of the 5-card spread, to balance her mind and her emotions, right? So we've got that Four of Flames that might still be, going back and forth in her mind, but emotionally she is at the end of a healing thing. So there's some denouement here. There is some transformation. There's perhaps some, not just letting go, but a real releasing of an old cycle of learning, ready to proceed into the new. And what is the message from her higher self in this contract? Get to know each other. Learning to meet another's need for love is important for a relationship to grow. That seems very beginning, middle, and end, at least for a reading, right? So we skip over to the Divine Masculine Wounded Child. The shadow attribute blames all dysfunctional relationships on childhood wounds, resists moving on through forgiveness. Okay, we get that. The light attribute awakens compassion and desire to serve other wounded children, opens the learning path of forgiveness. Now, by the way, there's only one wounded child card in this deck. No one's saying here that the Divine Feminine doesn't have her own childhood wounds, or perhaps the wounded child archetype active in her field. So the two of these, this could really, really be very powerful and interesting. It feels like the wounded child, in a way, has an upper hand. If he can really alchemize that, then he'll be helping himself heal as well as this Divine Feminine Advocate. And I say that because in the in his fire position, he's got the Nine of Cups. He wants his wish to come true, right? That Nine of Cups, that blessed union, and where he is right now, the Seven of Cups, though he has options, it really does feel like there is this fantastic thing. I mean, the 7 would lead to the 9 eventually through the 8, which he also has in his emotional position. But where he is right now in his element of earth, he's got these wishes and these fantasies that he's really, I feel like, really willing to do anything for, like seen in the Rider-Waite version of the Seven of Cups. There are all of those things that we emotionally want that we think will make us happy. In a way, they are emotional quests. Feels like he's at that place now of wanting to do that, certainly, but in his mind, getting that maybe this is a solo hero's journey here with this hermit, a hermit journey within himself to replenish his psychic resources, his soul, his vibration, his spirit, right? To restore himself, to get himself back into balance, to free himself, right next to that card of freedom, through that Eight of Cups emotionally going down into the underworld. So this isn't really walking away from her. This is walking into him. This is going deeper into some of the wounds that might have been repressed over the decades. And with that Three of Wands, the voice of the soul, it is those three wands illuminating the way of loyalty, right? Of hang in there, wait, go down, stay to your path, do the disciplined thing. Not the Temperance card, Major Arcana, but at least that thing of he's in his beginning stages of this, to stick with it, to go down, not so much to bring light into the shadow, but to bring his shadow into light. And I do feel like, as I said, he might have a bit of an infatuation or a crush on this divine feminine, so is maybe willing to clean himself up to a certain extent, at least to be psychologically presentable. Of course, that's in that angel card there, the healing with the angel oracle card of freedom, right? Freeing himself from some of this emotional baggage, what have you, but with the message from his higher self, embrace your emotions, don't push down your feelings or judge your emotions. Again, a strong beginning, middle, and end, a full sentence, if you will, for this divine masculine. And what's their overall healing mantra here for opening the mind? I allow myself to see beyond my beliefs and ideas, which is interesting considering, again, neither one of them have a single air card in their spread. Granted, only 5 cards each, but no mental energy here. There's certainly 2 major arcana for her, 1 for him, 1 water card for her, a fire, and an earth. So she's got everything except air. He's got 3 water cards, a spirit card, and a fire, so he's missing earth and air. So altogether, this feels like a very, very powerful contract for helping each other heal, considering the advocate could go on to continue to put compassion into action, giving voices to those who don't have them, and the divine masculine could go on to helping others heal with similar, if not childhood wounds. Come on, it's pretty good, Pisces. It's emotional. It's got a little bit of everything in it except, the element of air. But that's to be understood. It feels like this is real new, particularly with that get to know each other. Even if they've known each other, this feels like a deeper, more emotional, intimate level of it. So let me give you the blessing. Ready? Breathe. Oh, my Mer family, here we go. May the Piscean collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need in their happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, sexual, intimate, romantic, soulmate contracts, because they are the trickiest, they are the hardest. May they be blessed with everything that they need for balance, for freedom, to advocate in a healthy way, to help heal the wounds of the inner child for themselves and for everyone, to get to know each other and embrace their emotions while allowing themselves to see beyond their beliefs, that they may manifest the happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, romantic, soulmate contract that they want in their lives, that will not just bless them, but will bless all of life for the well-being of all. So mote it be. And so it is. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, right? Comment, please. Now is when I pull out of the reading, and it's like I don't get to see the end of the movie or the next scene. So please comment if you can what this means to you, because I love to know. And though I may not comment on absolutely everything, if there's a thumbs up and a heart on it, I just gave you a heart on it. It's me. Cool. Thank you so much for watching. I love you so much. I love you. Wishing you the very best and the very blessed in your soulmate contracts for March 2020 are timeless. But for now, my fishies, hail, farewell, and blessed be.